All right. Thanks for your patience, y'all. I did not mean to cut everybody up. Okay. Life happens. All right. I'm here. Okay, cool. But it's really about manipulating the breath, is my point. And it's really amazing because when you start manipulating your breath, it literally manipulates how you, like, if our go to is to contract our breathing and to take that energy back, it actually allows us to start like manipulating that natural instinct that we have to pull back and allows us to actually get recentered. It's pretty amazing. So I definitely recommend you guys trying that when you find yourself in a state of stress and overwhelm. So this week has been really pretty amazing. Aside from this computer that I don't know how long it's going to last, so we'll see what's going to go with this. But it's amazing because I'm actually in California this week, and I used to live in California in Los Angeles for 4.5 years ago, which is really crazy. Gosh, my life is so different than it was in 2018. 2018 is when I left, so 4.5 years ago. It'll be 5 in the summer. And it's amazing. Sometimes you don't think about how much you change or how much you evolve. And like other people can see it in you, right? Like both of you that are here today, I can see massive changes in both of you. Mark, you've been here for what, 2 months, 2.5 months? Not that long. Huge differences already. And I hopefully you can experience it too. You can see that you are, even though our brain tells us we're not. And John, like, holy shit, right? Completely different. I mean, just amazing. Your consistency and everything, and just the way that you show up every single week is phenomenal. And you know what it really comes down to. And so I was literally here. I am here. Was here a couple of days ago. Ajit and I got here. We went to the beach, and I was just sort of reflecting on my life and my life that was 4 years ago. And when I was here 4.5 years ago, I had a very different life. So obviously I was married, kids, the whole bit. But more than that, I had a 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 job. I was in the office 15 minutes from home. And, it was crazy because living here, it's expensive as hell, as we know LA is. But it's so amazing because, there were things that I wanted to do in my life, right? And there was this part of me that always wanted to be an entrepreneur. There was this part of me that always wanted to like have amazing things and amazing life and like just do things because I wanted to and have fun and all the things. And it's on one level, and I was just reflecting on this, actually like made me cry the other day because it was just like I was so just overwhelmed. But the truth is, when I lived here, it was way before I came into my personal development journey, before I entered like coach, really getting my coaches on, in my life and the help and support that I've had since then. But it was amazing because I never, there's people, I think everybody wants things, right? Everybody wants like something different. I think everybody has dreams and everybody has those aspirations of like, I want this life that's amazing. But most people, the difference is most people never feel like they deserve it. Put a 1 in the chat if that resonates. Or they kind of talk themselves out of it. They go, that might have been you. Oh, those people can have that. I can't. Or who am I to have that kind of thing. And what the biggest thing, and this like really hit me so hard on Monday, is wow, the difference has been that when I allowed myself to want it, get the support to have it, the biggest difference it's changed in my experience is that I don't believe that I don't deserve it today. I don't believe that I don't deserve it today. And when we lived here, we rented a place for 8 years. My kids, like I came here, moved here, got pregnant here, I had children here, the whole bit. And we were in this tiny 1,200 square foot, 2-bedroom apartment. It was the 3 of us. And I never felt like I deserved something different than what I have. And that deserving piece, and I really want you guys to hear me, why don't we believe that we deserve things? And if we think about it, I think children come into the world and everybody kind of comes in blank slate. Everybody comes in blank slate. Everybody comes in, wanting the world. And, kids have crazy, amazing, beautiful dreams of all the things that they want to create in their life. And, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a this. I want to be a that. And the difference is what happens, they start taking on the world's energy. We start taking on the world's energy. And I don't know if any of us ever, I don't think it actually exists, had parents that like truly loved themselves, embodied like love and abundance and grace and trust and all these things. And I don't think any of us really had a role model for that, because shit, if we did, our world would be completely different. And so at some point, somewhere, someone along the way, probably a parent, someone that we looked up to, said, oh, honey, it's nice that you want to be an astronaut, but fill in the blank. It's nice that you want to play with Legos all day, but fill in the blank. It's nice that you want to go to Mars, but fill in the blank. And somewhere along the way, we start taking that on, that belief on that we can't, and we start creating that. And the biggest thing that I've realized in my journey is the voice of other people's rejection, self-rejections, especially parents that didn't love themselves, parents that were always in scarcity and lack and fear. And I think all of us had those parents. It doesn't matter what kind of household you grew up in. But if you had parents that were in scarcity, lack, and fear, we start taking on that energy. And as human beings, we're so empathic. Energetically, we know how other people feel, and we start matching and mirroring that energy. And so if we're on family members or parents that are in a state of survival, in a state of fear, guess what we end up taking on? In order to belong to that family of origin, we start taking on survival energy to belong. Does that make sense? And that's why, you know, when you think about addictions, you think about anxiety, you think about depression, a lot of these symptoms, a lot of these challenges are generational, because literally to break that cycle, and it's possible, means that you literally have to go against everything that you were raised with in front of you. Does that make sense? Like, you have to consciously be aware of what you're doing and how you're literally self-sabotaging yourself to break away from, and I'm not just talking about depression, addiction, alcoholism, I'm talking about even generational poverty. There's a reason that poverty often is generational. And I've worked with a lot of people that over time, they make a lot of money. I literally had a sales call last week. This guy, literally, his plateau was like this number, whatever. I'm just going to make up a number. Let's say it's 10,000. And this guy, I mean, amazing, amazing real estate investor guy. I met him, and he, you know, at one point he was making 100,000 a month. 100,000 a month. He went from a 10K to holy shit, you know, Hispanic family. I mean, completely like that outlier number was like out there. And he started making 100,000 a month. And guess what happened? Family members started coming out of the woodworks, asking him for money, learning about all the things. Mark is nodding. Mark, that's not you. We have to like break these patterns of shit, the world's out to get me. And guess what he did? He literally had like, I mean, he was telling me the numbers of his business. It blew my mind. The guy had been in business for like 17, 18 years. And he was like, he literally had millions of dollars of equity at some point. And basically he broke up with somebody in his life. He got super complacent. Now people have been asking him for money. He's like, you know what? I don't want to deal with that crap. In order to belong to the family of origin that lived in fear, lack, and scarcity, blew away all the money that he had over years. And now he's barely under 10,000. I'm just gonna make up a number. He's making less than he'd make, and he was like, I can't do this anymore, right? And all these things stack, right? So the relationship gone. Oh wow, that means I'm not enough. Forget it. What's the point? Oh well, I guess I have money. I guess I can just live off the money. There's no point in me actually showing up in my life anymore and managing what I have. Let me spend what I have. And he's like, Karishma, I can't believe, like, at one point I had millions of dollars of equity, money in my bank account, he had passive income coming in because he had created this incredible real estate portfolio. He literally had bought all these homes, apartment complexes, whatever. Money was flooding in. He didn't have to worry about anything. And then all these things stacked. Family felt like it was against him. Girlfriend left, whatever. And one thing kind of catapulted into the next. And he lost everything. And now he literally was like, I just got a job 4 months ago. And he's literally back where he was 18 years ago. Isn't that crazy? This is not a made up story. And then I was trying to talk to him about getting support and getting this program. And ultimately, he didn't sign up because he went back to, what's the point anyway? But do you see that whole pull of survival is so strong if we allow ourselves to go there? It really is. And that's why everything we talk about here is so critical. When I talk about commitment, consistency, accountability, it is that. Because the world, 99% of the world out there is living in survival. 99% of the world out there is living in lack and separation. 99% of the world out there feels like they don't have enough, they don't deserve enough, they're never going to be enough. And that's why it takes a lot of courage to show up every single day, to choose you, to choose to consciously create a different life than you've ever had before, and to get the commitment that it takes to create the life that you want. So when I talk about 4.5 years ago, I was making, let's say, 100,000. That's how much I made. 100,000, living in a 1,200 square foot home. Never felt like I could buy it. I look at the market now, it's like that house is worth double when I left here 4.5 months ago. I'm not making that number because I was looking at real estate last summer going, holy crap. But I could have bought it for like nothing when we moved here, whenever, 2008, 2010. And the point is, I never thought I deserved. I never thought I could. And I wasn't surrounded by people that emulated to me that the life that I knew I wanted on some level was even possible for me. Does that make sense? And that's why, like, everything we talk about every day, even the gratitude routine. Why do I talk about the gratitude routine? John's done an amazing job. I think you're probably the most consistent magnetic leader I've had in 3 years plus. I mean, oh my God. It's what it starts doing is it starts teaching you how to focus on how abundant you are. And that which you focus on is what you become. So if you focus on, I already am abundant. And as you've noticed, John, and everyone else that's done gratitudes, you start realizing that gratitudes really aren't about the material things. It's about the simple things that you can be like, oh my God, I can't believe that. Right now I have this, that people take for granted. When we start focusing on what we have that's so beautiful, you start becoming that which you are. If you tell yourself, I am not that, which most people walk on, I am not that, I'm not that, I'm not that, I'm not that, or I'm not enough, I'm poor, I'm broke, I'm overwhelmed. And we start like taking these words and we start stacking them and stacking them and stacking them. And our brain literally starts stacking repetition. And we start at some point that becomes a belief. So if I had a picture of, I don't know, who's that Baywatch guy? David, whatever. Hoffman?
Hassel.
Hoff, right? Hasselhoff?
Hasselhoff.
That's it. Okay. No, it was on LA, right? I'm in LA. I'm like, I was thinking David. I was like, I don't know. My mind's went to Baywatch. If I put a picture of him, he's not cute, by the way. But if I had a picture of my wall and I was like, oh my God, David Hasselhoff, I love you. I love you. If every day I start looking at David Hasselhoff and I connect to my heart and I'm like, David Hasselhoff, I love you. Guess what's going to happen? Even if I have zero feelings towards that man, I'm going to start convincing myself that I'm madly in love with him. That's how powerful your brain is. So everything we're doing every single day is intentional to help you create abundance. If you want to be abundant, you have to be abundant from the inside out. Do you guys see the power of that? So what you focus on grows. If you focus on how freaking abundant you are in that moment, doesn't matter what's happening, doesn't matter if it feels like money's going away, you're like, oh my God, and this and that, and you're like, oh, and I have everything. And you start focusing on all those blessings of what you actually have. Oh my God. You start creating a life more beautiful than you could have ever imagined. And just being here, like, it was so humbling being here where I lived 5 years ago. And the people that I used to hang out with, so crazy because I'm going to meet a girlfriend tomorrow night. Same job. She's a teacher. Didn't even consider doing something different. I've met a group of friends yesterday afternoon. They're like literally the exact same position. Same work or not work. same home, same family situations of despair. 4.5 years later, my life is completely different. And it blew my mind. And those of you guys that have been with me for a while, you know, you've gone through crazy changes already. But it's like we got to give ourselves permission to start dreaming it. But it's more than dreaming it. It's like you got to become it. You got to embody it. So I wanted to share some lessons that and when it comes down to everything, it comes back to what everyone wants here is freedom. But how do we create that freedom? That freedom is created by really, really focusing on peace. So when I think about survival, lack, scarcity, fear, which is how 99% of the world lives out there, not abundant, not feeling abundant, not even if they have, I'm here in the South Bay and it's like, there's a lot of millionaires here. Okay. It's pretty normal here. And they're walking around like they don't have anything. And I'm like, you're living in Southern California where it's breathtakingly beautiful. And you literally are like immersed in that perfect 70-degree weather most of the year. Today's a horribly crappy rainy day, but normally it's sunny and gorgeous. You're sitting on prime real estate and you're walking around like you got nothing. Crazy. And so I called that mindset survival mindset. Okay. Because even though they technically on paper, probably bank account, whatever, have everything, quote unquote, everything when it comes to abundance money, they're walking around feeling like they don't have everything. So what is the difference? The difference in what we're creating here is a life that's really creating that foundation of peace. Because when we want to get out of survival and create a life of abundance, we have to really anchor in a foundation that is not built on survival. Does that make sense? And that's why, when people in the Magnetic Leaders Program, whatever, over the years, they'll be like, Karishma, I want to leave my business. I want to leave my job and come into business full time. I always say, is it peaceful? Well, it's easy to want to quit something when it's horrible. But if it's an amazing day, an amazing week, are you still at peace quitting the job and going into the business full time? Is that something that you can be with tomorrow and be at peace with yourself in that situation the next day? And so I want to kind of talk about a few things to really help us kind of create that foundation of peace even more. And the reason I talk about that foundation of peace over and over and over again here, because it's so important, is how you create something is how we create something is the foundation for which it grows. So if we come into a business and it becomes there's some people that get pissed off and they're like, okay, I hate my ex-job, my old boss. I'm so in spite of my ex-boss. I'm going to create this business to be like an FU to my ex-boss. Okay. When we create a business with that intention, that foundation of resentment and anger and all the things, what is the energy that's around that business or that thing? It's going to be a business that's going to reflect anger, despair, resentment. You guys see that? So every day, that business is just going to be more painful. Even though that business could grow and thrive and make lots of money, there's still going to be that energy of blah around it. But when we create our life around, or even our business, in that foundation of peace, what happens is that peace grows, the happiness grows, the fulfillment grows, the joy grows, the service grows, the love grows. And even if that business isn't producing as much as you want day in and day out, what happens is the energy around it still feels good. It still feels fulfilling. It still feels fun. It still feels joyful. Do you guys see that? And at some point, when you've been in a business long enough, and some of you have, it's not just about the paycheck anymore. It becomes more about why am I doing this? Is this what I really want to do day in and day out? It has to be that. And that's why I really have you all focused on like creating that anchoring that abundance, that peace, that anchoring in you. Because if you're good and the thing that you create is going to reflect how you feel. So I wanted to kind of share a few things that really came up, and I was kind of jotting some, notes and things like that yesterday. And I was just like, these are some things that I want to share with you all. Okay. And these are like just nuggets that have allowed me. So when I think about the life that I have, again, 4.5 years ago, completely different life than I have today. It's like, what made the difference? Because it's like a complete 180. And I'm going to kind of share a few things that I've kind of picked up over time. The biggest thing, and so you guys will get this, is focusing on myself. Focusing on myself. And I'm a mom. I got the business. I had the job. I had the thing. I had the whole thing. The whole busy, full schedule, just like you all do. But it really came back to focusing on myself. And really focusing on my happiness, my joy, me. And a lot of this that I talk about is like the opposite of what society teaches us. That's selfish. And I'm here to tell you, if I can't love me and give me what I need, I can't give you what you need. I can't serve other people in the way that they need. One of the biggest things I learned was this expression one of my old mentors would tell me. She'd be like, Karishma, every time you want to turn on the microscope and look at other people and what they're not doing and judge other people and how they are, open your mirror and look at yourself. Anytime I want to blame anyone else of what they're not doing, or go, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Every time someone is triggering me, I need to come back to me and be like, what am I doing? If this person's triggering me, that's something about me that I need to face and work with and be with. The second thing is perception is key. Perception is key. Okay? Perception is everything. And a lot of times, 99.9%, again, when we're living in a world of fear, lack, and scarcity, people's perception's really skewed. But the second I go into, this is about them, I really need to go back to, this is about me. What do I need to do to be at peace in the situation? Do I need to let it go? Do I need to control it? And control is basically fear. You guys see that, right? If I truly trusted that things were going the way they were supposed to go, and I was showing up the way I needed to show up, and everybody was doing what they're supposed to do, I wouldn't need to control anything. And this is where I really get to look at situations and be like, okay, is this mine? Or is this yours? Is this mine to fix? Or is this yours to own? And if it's not mine to fix or mine to work with, then I get to let it go. I heard something, one of my friends, again, I was with some people yesterday, and she said this incredible thing. She's talking about like just the power of the voice in the head. And the voice in the head is all fear, it's all ego. And realizing that, you know what, sometimes we need to just allow those voices in the head to just be voices. And just let that mental chatter just be without giving it attention, without recognizing and coming back to me. Is this peaceful? Are these thoughts peaceful? Is this who I am? And if the answer is no, okay, what do I need to do to break away from this situation that's creating me stress? And sometimes the simple pattern interrupt. I was telling Mark last week, I'm like, sometimes when you're feeling like you're in the state of whatever it is, sometimes we need to do a pattern interrupt. If you're finding yourself going down the mental rabbit hole, sometimes we just need to step away from what we're doing and go do something else. Go take a quick workout, go do a quick walk, something to just change that mental state. Because that mental rabbit hole chatter just creates vicious loops, and then we find ourselves feeling stuck. One of the most incredible things that I've learned over time is to break the cycle by changing my state, by changing my physical state and changing it up and just getting up and doing something. I literally have a trampoline in my office at home. And sometimes when I'm in a state of blah or like whatever, and I can't go outside because it's too hot or too cold or whatever, in Dallas, they get all the extremes, 30 seconds on there, try jumping on a trampoline and not being giddy. Okay, like it's crazy. It just changes my state. So I'm going from like I'm seriously blah, but I need to be focused right now. I need to focus on this. Changes my state, more energy. Or if I'm just finding myself in a mental rut and I'm going down the same rabbit hole, literally 30 seconds, I'm not thinking about my crap in my head. I'm just in a better state. The physiology is huge in changing your state. You know, this person I was talking to yesterday, I met some women from an Al-Anon meeting. So I used to go to, I talk about being in recovery groups of families of alcoholics. And I used to go to meetings here. And I was with these women yesterday. Excuse me. And we were talking about they had a recovery meeting. I was just writing down some notes, like my own reflections and my own journey. And there was something that I said, apparently that was like, I thought it was pretty damn cool that I said this. And I completely forgot that I said it. But this woman called me out and she's like, Karishma, you said this out loud in a meeting a few months ago and it resonated with me. I'm like, what the hell did I say? What was that? What? Completely woke me up from my little like mini, you know, going in my head and spacing out. But there was something that I said, you know, a few months ago to these people. And I said, other people can't dim my light. I let my light be dimmed. Other people can't dim my light. And I think I was sharing about my divorce when I was in the middle of divorce a few months ago or whatever, however long that was. And I was saying about how like I felt like my ex-husband, I couldn't be myself. I couldn't be me, that I let him dim my light and I kind of changed it. And I was like, no, it's not that he didn't. I didn't allow myself to be that around him in that way. So again, it comes back to focusing on me and be like, okay, what am I doing or not doing to step into who I am? And then who am I surrounding myself with that can enhance who I truly am? Does that make sense? Because, you know, have you noticed, you guys have probably noticed, it's easier to be yourself with some people than other people. Or in certain groups, it's really naturally easy to kind of retract and kind of hide because it doesn't feel as safe to be who you are in those situations. And so it's all about intention. Today, I'd rather hang out with a really small group of friends. I used to have a lot of friends when I lived out here. And when I come back and I visit here, it's like a very, very small handful of people I actually want to give my energy and my time to. Because my energy and my time is priceless. And I have to really want to spend my time with them. Otherwise, it's not worth it. And then the last piece that I want to share with you guys is really focused on giving, not receiving. Focused on giving, not receiving. Because if you truly were fully abundant, which I know every single one of you is, that means that you have exponential, unlimited things to give away. Wouldn't that be true? And that means there is no lack or scarcity because there's always enough. And Eric and David, David Kantner, I was going to share that little example. David and Eric were working on a deal with my client. David was with me for several months. And they've had this incredible deal. And it seemed like it was pretty much no, I don't need to go into all the details. And long story short, they kept showing up to help. They kept showing up to help. They kept showing up to help. They kept showing up to help, trying to figure out all the creative ways to help this woman out that was in a foreclosure situation. And ultimately, it came to nothing's working out. Might as well let this one go. And everybody kind of moved on several months ago. It was like 6 months ago, Eric? 5-6 months ago?
Yeah, it was around like November when that fell apart.
Yeah.
We did get her in a like a like an assisted living home out of like the place that she was living in. So she was in a good place, and we just all decided that like we weren't going to be able to buy it and make any money, so we just let it go to foreclosure. She was fine with that, and that's kind of where we left it.
Yeah. And then what happened? What happened several months later?
All
Almost
the
7
bank
months later.
shady banks. They lied to us and told them that they were foreclosing, but they actually went ahead and I guess like tried to buy it themselves. A lot of like reverse mortgage companies do some shady stuff. And we had a memorandum of contract on it. So when they opened up title company had to disclose that we had a lien against it, and we negotiated a payment for us, and we got some money off of it at the end.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. So was that energy of I want to help. I really want to give. And how much time would you say between you and David you've spent on that? Because I remember that was quite the journey.
Yeah, it was about like 3 or 4 months of work. We got her hooked up with a lawyer. David, I let him have, he did a lot of the work since she was up there in Fort Worth. He was meeting with her. I just had a few phone calls, and like did some trying like marketing on the back end. But and then David also paid for a few things for her
Okay,
that he got reimbursed for.
amazing,
Finally.
amazing. Okay, but it's the energy of like I'm giving, and I
Yeah.
know David and I were pretty connected. But I mean, I think he spent hours and hours working on that. There was quite the healthy obsession, I'll call it. Like he was really wanted to help her. And it was like he was really invested in helping her. And at some point it was like he had to let it go because there's all they could do is what you could do.
Well, we did like so we got to a point where we had helped her. It just we weren't able to like stop the foreclosure, but she was in a better place. We had gotten her, out of the situation. Her family was aware of the situation that she was in. She was kind of like deteriorating in health. Her house wasn't being able to be kept up. She needed not like full assisted living, but like a place where someone was going to be able to check in on her
Mhm.
and just make sure that she was doing okay. So we also like director was she didn't think she could afford assisted living, and a lot of people can't. But there are levels. I can't remember what it's called. There's different terminology there, but she didn't need to be in a place where they're like feeding her and like constantly with her. She just needed like they have like these apartments where essentially someone will like maybe bring them groceries and do a few things, and there's a community around her to support her. But like she's capable of living by herself, just not she needs some level of support. And
Cool.
that's a lot more affordable. But a lot of these insurance companies just direct you straight towards the expensive stuff, and
Makes
they don't
sense.
even tell you about the
Of course.
like the more affordable options.
Amazing. Independent living. Cool, John. Thanks.
Yeah, independent living, that's what it's called. There you go.
Awesome. But how amazing. But it's all connected. You guys see that. So when you're really in that abundant mindset and you're like, I have everything, at that point you're not holding back on showing up and giving other people, just showing up and sharing, showing up to give, right? And Eric, like you've had some really cool wins in showing up and kind of giving away really cool resources and tools and things like that in some of the communities that you belong to. But it really is that it's an abundant mindset. If I have everything to give, I'm always going to have enough. I don't have to worry about holding back from who I am because there is always enough. So I'm going to pause right there and we'll just kind of open it up for a discussion. So I just, again, to kind of like really kind of tie a ribbon around it, kind of put it together. And again, I'm kind of going back 4.5 years later, leaving LA, completely different life, a business that I love. I really created a life with time freedom where I could spend it with the people that I really care about and love intentionally, showing up as me every single day, supporting people because I get to. And how did it begin? Going back to, I deserve the life that I have today. And it didn't happen accidentally. It was like I really had to lean into support. I had to learn a very different mindset because the mindset I have today is very different than I had 4.5 years ago. It didn't happen by accident. I had to learn a different way of seeing the world so I could start becoming that. Okay. It started for me, it's all about focusing on me. If I'm not happy, what is it? What am I not happy about within me? It's never, ever, ever about the other person. And then that commitment, consistency, accountability is key. Because if I want to get out of survival and lack and scarcity and create a life that's truly abundant on every level, that means that I have to make peace, which is like literally the opposite of survival. Peace is the opposite of survival. So if you want to live in scarcity, lack, that is survival energy. Peace is like from a state of peace, everything can flow from that. It really is that. And now life doesn't have to be stressful. Your business doesn't have to be stressful. Your relationships don't have to be stressful. Life is going to happen how it's going to happen. But if I make peace the priority, that means that how I show up is peaceful. That means I could have people in my life that are volatile, that are angry, that are whatever, but I don't have to become reactive. I don't have to add more of that energy to somebody's energy that's already reactive. Now I can really focus on me, be like, okay, what can I do to stay focused on my peace? And ultimately, when it comes to everything, focusing on what you have, focusing on how abundant you are, and focusing on giving to life, not receiving. So I'm going to kind of pause right there, and I just kind of want to anchor on those lessons and just open it up to each one of you, what resonates with you, anything you want to elaborate on, anything in clarification on, anything you need support with. Really want to be able to help each one of you. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first again.
Hey, John. Yes.
Hi. All right. So like I have an opportunity to do something I really want to do, but I'm scared for many reasons. But it's a cruise out of Miami for 5 days next month. My thoughts are like, it's gonna be terrible. Something's gonna happen. Can't afford it, whatever, it's just all the negative thoughts are going to my head, but I'm like, just do it anyway. I deserve it, right? So it's like I got this like, good cop, bad cop going on in my head with this thing. And I think I'm just gonna do it though.
Awesome. So that old bad cop, what you call a bad cop, is fear.
Yes.
And we just get to what happens is, and I'm realizing this more and more, I'm about to take some massive changes in my business and do some really different things. And it's scary as hell. But this is where it comes back to commitment, consistency, accountability, repetition is the life that you want. And John, it's like, our mind plays crazy tricks. Okay, so your mind is convincing you that you can't. When the truth is you can and you already are. So the biggest thing that we're afraid of is what we already are. It really is. And I'm really great at coming up with stories of how I'm not. I'm so great at it. And my coach calls me out of my BS all the time. He's like, Karishma, really? And I'm going to tell you what he told me, John, is you do a really shitty job at pretending that you're not abundant because you already are. You already are. And you already have been. This is where it comes back to like when I talk about that repetition, it's not about repetition just showing up here, it's showing up for yourself. And what happens is as we start stepping into our fear anyway, because everything that you want is the unknown. You guys get that? Every one of us. Okay. So everything that we want is the unknown. Our mind wants to protect us and go, that's unknown. That's scary. I want to be safe and I want to be in the known. But what you really want is the unknown. So it's like every day that we take a step into the unknown, we talk to ourselves and we're like, literally, I'm talking about like the stuff when I'm doing my business, I've already invested like tens of thousands of dollars because I have faith that the investment that I put in, which can be scary as hell for me too, is worth me being able to serve more people, which is ultimately what I want. It will ultimately allow me to create even more the lifestyle that I want. So I can serve more people, so I can have lifestyles. You see what I'm saying? It becomes a beautiful loop. But if I talk myself out of having the very thing that I want, now I'm doing it to me. Because today there's nobody stopping you than you, John. And at some point, the fear is there, the voices are there, all that stuff is there. You show up, you do it anyway. And it's like, I've had to have literally so many pep talks with myself these last few months, weeks even, and literally like look at myself in the mirror or just like talk to myself and be like, Karishma, I know you're scared. This is a part of you that's scared, and you have to like acknowledge that part of you and be like, John, I know you're scared, but we're going to do this anyway. And I know living in survival and scarcity and lack in the past felt safe. Now we're going to create safety being abundant. And every time you feel scared, and this is for all of you, I know it's scary to do X, Y, and Z, or to be X, Y, and Z. And I know you're scared, but we're going to do this anyway. And what happens is the more that I have that conversation with myself, because I'm the only one who has to talk to me, because that fear is only within me and can be paralyzing. It has been paralyzing in the past. But what's happening for me more and more is that fear becomes background noise. It doesn't start becoming the dominant voice. And the more you start taking those small steps towards creating the future that you really want, those fears become just background noise, and they don't have the same pull on you as they might right now. So you have to be that to create that. And I guarantee when your butt is on that cruise ship and you're looking over breathtakingly beautiful Miami, which I was at 6 weeks ago, you won't give a crap about all the noises in your head. You're going to be there, you're going to be present, you're going to have a blast. But decide, this is what I want. And I know it's scary, but I've got this. And that's how we start creating that safety and security inside of us. Because everything I know that I want is on the other side of the known. And today, for the first time in my life, I'm actually okay with the unknown. Because if I knew what, I mean, it just blows my mind. I'm literally like 4.5 years ago, my life was completely different. Holy crap. I couldn't even fathom the life that I have today. But it was like one day at a time, just taking those small steps forward and ensuring that I had accountability. So when I wanted to go back into the lane and go back to lack, scarcity, and fear, I have people on my butt, and you guys help keep me accountable because I get to show up here every day and I talk to me and I talk to you every single day, every single week. When I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me too. But it allows me to keep moving forward. Does that help, John? And
Yes.
everything, hopefully. Yeah. So fear's normal. I have it too. It's okay. But now I don't have to let, so when I'm knowing that, hey, I have fear right now. Okay, cool. Is this fear going to allow me to create the life and the lifestyle that I want? No. Is showing up and doing the thing that's freaking scary, is that going to help me? I think so. And now I do it anyway. I do it anyway. I do it anyway. And that's how we start stacking courage. Because this whole journey of stepping into the unknown is all about courage. You've got this, John. Go for it. You deserve the cruise.
I'll do the call live on the cruise. They're buying the internet for us. So
Yeah, the internet's like, yeah, the Wi-Fi connection is crappy, but hey, we'll be here. Awesome. Cool. All right. Who wants to go next? Thanks, John. I think that helped everybody, hopefully. Eric.
Yeah, I think we all do have those fears, especially when you're trying something new, John. If you ever want to talk about anything like that, John, because I have a whole lot of respect for you and like the story that you told me about you quitting your job and like just doing what you do. I still am not 100% sure what that is, John, but like I love it. I love that you just kind of you're like freewheeling out there and driving around and taking up odd jobs and that's giving you the freedom to be what you want to be, man. So I really respect like just the story that you've told and the person that you are, man. So if you ever want to talk about any of those fears or whatever, I'm happy to be there.
Eric, biggest takeaway. Awesome. Love the little
you know,
moment
like
here. Thank you.
it really resonates with me the you talking about how like all the stuff like with like other people, it all comes back to you at the end. Like people don't really have the ability to make you feel down or upset or any which way. It's your reaction to them or to what's happening that is everything, right? So and you have the ability to control whatever your reaction is. It's not the people. And that's something that I can't say that I'm like perfect with, but it really, that awareness helps me get over things a lot faster now than I would have without that awareness. And so,
It's the awareness that leads to the action, which leads to the change.
yeah, yeah. And I like, it'll never like 100% go away. Like you're gonna get mad, you have feelings, you're a person. But the ability to like rebound and recognize like what you're doing to yourself is a really powerful thing that's helped me a lot with like the relationship with my family, with my wife, with my mom, who I now see like does a lot of things that I do think like she's trying to like make me feel guilty that she doesn't see the kids as much as she wants to, and things like that. And that's not necessarily my problem or my like obligation to give her everything that she wants, because she did the same thing. She just doesn't remember it. Like she didn't always have her parents around. She moved away from all of them. It's a similar situation. We have our own life, and I don't feel bad about it.
And especially guilt and shame can be such a big driver, but we don't, again, if we recognize, okay, it's guilt and shame, do I want to give this guilt and shame power? Or do I want to give me power to be me? Because I'm not guilt and shame, I'm love, I'm abundance, I'm whatever. So it's really that. Awesome, Eric. Good.
Yeah.
Good job. All right. Thank you for sharing. Mark, last but not least. Biggest takeaway. I can't hear you, Mark. There's no sound coming out. Well, I heard you earlier. You're talking, but I can't hear you. John, if you need cruise tips, I've done a lot of cruises. I used to live in Florida too. I've moved a lot over the years, so I'm happy to shoot me a DM. I'm happy to support.
I might take you.
Yeah, happy to. Mark, we can't hear you, Mark. Do you want to put in the chat? Do you want to get off of the headphones? Does that help? No. You're the tech guy. I don't know anything tech. My computer just didn't work the first 15 minutes.
Is that good?
Yay! All right, we can hear you now. Yes, please speak.
The biggest thing that I took away was probably giving more. I have like a real problem with giving because I always feel like I give and never get. And that's in probably anything of life. But I think what I got out of that is if you're abundant, then it's gonna be okay at the end of the day, no matter what. So that's probably the biggest thing I got.
Good. And like we can have more conversations about what that is. Okay. Because when it comes to the point of like taking away from your peace, that's no bueno. Okay. So there's like this line of like I can give a lot of me away. But it's like if I'm sitting here, if I'm in California, right? I used to have a lot of friends here and I know a lot of people here. But if I'm here and I'm here for me, which I really am here for me, but if I'm spending all of my time giving all of my time away for other people and that doesn't feel peaceful, that's not good. Okay. But when it comes to like how I show up in my business, I want to show up 100% for my clients. I don't want to have boundaries and hold back on what I can do to support them. Does that make sense? And like literally the coach that I signed up for that's going to help me with some stuff with my business, he literally gives all of his stuff away for free. Like literally all of his stuff away is in terms of strategy stuff for free. But what he does is like, it's brilliant actually. He gives away so much stuff and it's all mental, like, it's like word. It's like just so much strategy that it's like, it makes you want to implode. So like you actually need help to implement it and follow through because it's so much. So does that make sense? So it's like literally what he's giving away is everything. Here's everything that I'm doing to help you create these systems in place to help you with X, Y, and Z. And it's like a fire hose. There's so much because I started doing this course that he has, and he's like, here, Karishma, you know, I signed up with him to work with for one-on-one coaching, whatever. And he's like, here's this course. And it's like, I'm basically giving it away for free. And I looked at the course and I'm like, holy shit. Like, how many years did it take for you to come up with this content? He's like, this was my obsession for like 10 years. And he gave it away, but it's such a fire hose of content. I'm like, I don't even know where the hell to start. It's like, I actually need help in implementing the things that you've taught me. And that's like, even the beauty of coaching is like, I can tell you all the things theoretically, but sometimes you're like, I don't know how to apply this to my life. And that's where that feedback can be really powerful of like, okay, wow, I realize I'm doing this to me. I know I'm doing this to me. I can't get out of this loop. Boom, here's feedback to get out of the loop that we're creating in ourselves. And now it allows us to recalibrate back to the path of which the life that we want to create, not the old life that wants to pull us back because it feels safe. Okay. So it's amazing. I mean, like literally, he's like, I give away everything for free. He literally has a newsletter. It's like boom, 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 boom. It's like 14 pages of stuff in the newsletter he gives away. And he's at this mailing list he's created for years. And I was like, oh my God, like, and I signed up with this coach because honestly, I met 5 people. Ajit gave me his number. I think you guys should talk to him. Okay, cool. I'm vetting out agencies and vetting out coaches. I meet this guy, I have no idea what the hell he does for work. Literally no idea. I haven't read any, I've read one newsletter and there's been like a slew of them. I haven't looked at his course, but intuitively I talked to him and he felt right. And he was like, Karishma, these are some things that I think I could help you with effective immediately. A, B, C. Okay, cool. And literally I'm talked to 8 other people. Everyone else gave me way lengthier proposals. And I signed up with him. Why? Because I trusted myself. You see, at some point you just have to follow your intuition, your gut, and just follow what feels right. And then I looked at his course. I'm like, holy shit, I had no idea you even do all this stuff. I'm so glad I hired you. It was crazy. But it's like, but everything that I've gone through in my life today has led me to this path. I feel safe in the unknown. I trust myself. I am abundant. And showing up with that leap of faith that the next step that I'm going to do, I trust me today. I've got me today. That old voice really wants to pull me back. It is so good at it sometimes. And when I find myself going back there, it's like I get to come back and be like, okay, that's not who I am. That's not the life that I want to create from that space. Let me come back to my heart. Let me see what feels right. And like with him, it was instant hell yes. And I trust that. Because there's a million different ways to create money in your business, any business. But is it going to be aligned to who you are? Is that energy aligned to the life that you want to create? I think every one of you is here. You don't want hustle and grind. There's a million other coaches that can teach you how to do that. That lifestyle sucks. I've been there before. But I want to look at myself in the mirror every single day, like myself more and more each day, and create a business that's really reflective of me. And have support that allows me to create a business reflected on me. There was one person, a coach that I talked to as I was interviewing coaches and agencies. I'm going to wrap up soon. And she was like, Karishma, you're doing live coaching in your Facebook group every week. I want you to stop right away. And I was like, what? She goes, don't give away stuff for free. Literally. Okay. She said, don't give away stuff for free. I actually liked her until she said that. And I was like, why is that? She goes, that's for new coaches that don't know what they're doing. You don't need to do that. And I sat with that. I was like, that's a hell no. Do you guys see that? Because it's a complete disconnect with how I live my life today. I don't believe in that for 1 second. That's scarcity mindset. I don't want to work with somebody that's clearly in scarcity mindset. So I liked her until then. I'm like, really liked her. And I'm like, oops. Okay, thank you, God. That's a hell no. Followed my gut, signed up, and I'm like, wow, this guy is so cool. I get to learn so much. I'm really excited. And that's what it's about. Okay. So thank you guys. Put the biggest takeaway from yours or what somebody else said in the chat today. Just the last thing we remember is the last thing we hold on to. John, keep us posted on what you end up booking for your cruise in the Facebook group. And guys, next week, we'll start the Q2 group starting next week, first week of April. So all the course communication moving forward. will be in the Q2 group as effective Saturday. Cool. January or April 1st, whenever that is. Yeah, focus on yourself. And when you find yourself pulling that fear pulls you, for all of us, is that going to allow me to create the life that I want? No. What's one step I need to do? Or how do I need to show up to align myself with that future version of me? You do that over and over and over again. Cool. All right, guys, go take that, go give something away. That's like, just connect with someone, help them. Just
Yeah,
give.
Mark, like when she says give, it doesn't have to even be anything monetary or fiscal, right? Like I've just been connecting with a lot of like newer real estate investors, and like some of them, I think eventually I'm going to get deals that they bring to me because of just like having like a 30-minute phone call and just talking them through like questions and answering a text every once in a while. So I'm offering that for free. I've been doing that like 2 or 3 times a week with different people.
Amazing. And I'm noticing more and more, guys, and this is for everybody, your time is your biggest asset. So if you were to quantify, let's put a dollar number, how much you want to make or have 10, 15 years from now, and quantify your dollar amount per hour, that hour for me is priceless. So when I give away my time, that time is priceless. So it's like, even Eric, I would say, Eric, pick 2 to 3 spots a week, no more than. So be you, give away value, do all that, but you don't want it where your time and your free time is the mercy of someone else. And all you're doing is giving, and you're not giving to you. So as long as
I'm
it's
actually gonna start doing like a Zoom call, I think, weekly, and then have multiple people on.
And Venkat is doing that. So Venkat, because he focuses on multifamily, he has a Zoom call where he just, and like literally him and his business partners come on there every week. And their drop line is, we want to help you get your first multifamily deal. You should connect with Venkat, John. Okay. I'm sort of, that's thinking out loud, it's just coming to me now. And literally they're coming on there every week, and he and his partners are managing it. I think he's sort of leading it. And it's just, people are coming to them. And as a result of that, they have more deals now that they can handle from a time capacity standpoint. There's things that are coming to them. So this is the beauty of networking and being really intentional with your time. So I would say, I love the Zoom thing. I told Ajit when he was looking at building his all sort of Kaleidos community, I was like, well, don't give away like all of your time, because he found himself like connecting with so many people. There were like 30 calls a week. I'm like, where's time for you? That's not good. So do like a Zoom call every week, and then whoever wants to come can come, and everybody supports each other. But it's still your meeting, and you're able to manage the energy of the meeting and not have it be all over the place. There's actually like a focus to where the meeting can go. So just like little things like that, where you still have your time, but you're still serving in a way that feels good and aligned with you. Okay. All right. Great meeting. Hope you guys found value in that. And I look forward to talking to you all soon. Okay. Keep us posted. Bye.